Hey, y'all. Welcome to our 5th episode of On a Date. Kind of nervous.
Woo, woo, woo.
We are halfway through the season, baby.
We are. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, we got 5 more episodes left. Shit.
Woo.
Y'all been rocking with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to get started today.
What we talk about?
Let's talk about cheating,
Uh-huh.
infidelity,
Mhm.
all of that.
I think my hat speaks for itself.
Not dump him.
Dump him. We can stop there for real.
Okay, so let's talk about cheating in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
What do you consider cheating?
If we're in a committed relationship, I think doing anything outside of the boundaries that we've set
Mm-hmm.
in that relationship. So if you and I are in a committed partnership and you decide to have sex with somebody else, that's cheating. If you decide to text somebody something inappropriate, that's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
If you decide to do anything that will compromise our relationship, that's cheating. For me.
Right. Is sex the end all be all part of cheating, or is there like a beginning and an end?
Sex is like I feel like that's the
last and the worst.
That's it. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm finished and the relationship is complete.
So you consider flirting cheating as well?
I don't know. Well, I think that it depends though, because I feel like this. If let's say we out grabbing drinks, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bartender, me and my man out, the bartender smiling at him. And he like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just give me 2 Patron and pineapples. You know I love Patron and pineapple. So you flirting, but you flirting with a purpose. So if you flirting with a purpose that's going to benefit us, then no, I'm not mad at that. But if you flirting with a purpose...
I done roll my eyes at that. What?
What do you think is cheating?
No, okay. So I agree with you 100%. I think that cheating is anything that your partner will do in a relationship that will make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So if you were to ask me if flirting is cheating, it really depends on if you know whether whether I will be uncomfortable or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like we go out all the time and we're just talking to people. I flirt with everybody.
Yeah.
So women,
you are a big flirt.
Men, a dog, I flirt with a dog. So to me, it won't even be like I'm really just like flirting with intention of wanting to do anything. It's just like conversation.
It's fun flirting.
Yeah, it's fun. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be just basically you and your partner's boundary and knowing, if it's, if y'all are teetering that line. Have you ever been cheated on?
Damn, you go right into that.
I want to know.
I have been cheated on in both of my relationships.
Both of them?
In both relationships, I was cheated on.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think it was hard to digest.
I knew that already, but I just
you did, right?
I just want to give it a fact.
But I think it was hard to digest getting cheated on, especially at a young age. I was young, slim, trim.
Were you newly okay? Yeah, bitch, okay. Were you newly like this was your first relationship, right? Or this was your second one?
Both relationships.
Both relationships you got cheated on. So the first time you got cheated on, how was that experience for you? How did you navigate that?
I think it was shocking. I think because at that point in time, him and I had been together maybe like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We were living together.
Okay.
And
how old were you?
I was 20.
Okay. So
21.
You were still young.
Yeah. It was like right before I moved to Atlanta.
Okay.
And the reason why I remember that was because when I found out he had cheated was the day before my flight to Atlanta to go look at houses for the both of us. And
you went to buy a house at 20?
I was ready to do whatever I needed to keep my man and keep a happy home.
Not a way next hell, man.
So I remember the day before my flight, I'm packing, him and I are having a good conversation. And that week, it was like right after my finals week, I was in college. It was after my finals week. And I remember he had went missing one day that week, but I was taking finals. This is like before like social media was big and all of that. I think the only thing we had was Facebook back then.
Right.
And you couldn't really track nobody. So he went missing, but told me some story. And I was like, okay, whatever. And my phone rang. It was an unknown number. I answer the phone. And I'm like, hello? And they just start talking. Like, I enjoyed you yesterday. It was good seeing you. And I'm just like, I'm just role playing. I'm like, yeah, just one word answers. And the guy on the other end of the phone is just rambling. And I'm like, wait a minute. And he says, oh, Jay must be home. My ex's name did not start with a J.
Okay.
So I'm like, are you talking about me? I know, I just said, yeah.
But how did he call your phone if he was looking for him?
Let me tell you something. Dummy. That man, Dummy. That's his name gonna be Dummy. Dummy. Literally, me and my ex's numbers were like 1 digit apart.
Okay.
My last digit of my phone number was like 22. And then the last digit of his phone number was 23. So it was 1 digit off. So the guy must have doubled that 222. And it got through to me. And he's just rambling. And then the voice sounds familiar. I'm like, damn, his voice sounds familiar. But he telling me all the tea. He's telling me they slept together. He telling me all this stuff. And it's all making sense. And when I listen to the voice, I'm like, wait a minute. This is the voice of my boyfriend at the time.
Right.
Best friend's boyfriend.
Boyfriend at the time. Best friend's boyfriend. Okay.
So he slept with, to all the listeners and viewers out there, my man at the time has slept with
his best
friend's boyfriend.
You know, this is not the purpose of the episode, but I would really love to unpack this.
And so I was furious.
Okay.
Like, I was furious as this had happened. I went off on old boy. I cleared him. But let me tell you this. What I can recollect about the situation was this was a buildup. Because the first time that I went to my man at the time's best friend and that guy's house, the guy walked out the room in just like shorts. No shirt on, just shorts and slides. And I politely asked him, I said, hey, can you put a shirt on?
And this is
the best friend's boyfriend.
The best friend's boyfriend.
So I knew that he had flirted with my man. I knew that he had an attraction because even when I told him
why did the shorts bother you?
You should not be around somebody else's man with just shorts on and no top. Me and my man are coming to your home to play cards and have a good time. We're not in an open relationship. This ain't no polyamorous type of situation.
But okay, so what would you say to the people that will tell you that, well, we are all men, we have the same bodies?
My man should be looking at your titties. That's what I would say. Unless we at a beach or at a pool. Other than that, put them bitches up. That's what I would say.
Okay.
You making me mad again. Because I was really mad. I think, because, in some ways, I'm a traditionalist.
Right. So you are. I'm sure the viewers have caught on so that we 5 episodes in, baby.
So in some ways, I'm a traditionalist. So I did feel like that was a slight disrespect.
Okay.
But finding out that he did that, really was a turning point of our relationship.
Okay.
And it was hard. But the second guy, I found out he cheated because one day we're arguing because he went missing and he's waving his hands in my face and I smell booty and Vaseline. Yes, booty and Vaseline is what I smell, and that's how I call him cheating because his hands smell like booty and Vaseline, and he hadn't touched my booty, and he ain't got no Vaseline in the car. So he told me, I'm sorry, I'm trying to tell my truth. He told me that he jacked off in a car.
Okay. Well, that clearly was a lie.
That was a lie because ain't no Vaseline in your car.
Who doing? First of all, who jerks off a Vaseline? But anyway,
this is a mid.
What I want to touch on to the stories that you said, because I don't like to blame people who have been cheated on. But I want to ask you, do you think that there was something in your relationship that you could have done better to avoid the cheating, or something that you could have done to minimize it or whatever? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think that in both of those situations, those were the only times that I knew about them cheating or found out about them cheating. And so the first one, we stayed together a little bit after that.
Okay.
The second one, it ended shortly after that. So with the first one, there was conversation as to why he cheated. I was in
And that was your first relationship?
That was my first relationship.
Okay.
I was in college and I was working 3 jobs. He literally said, you didn't have time for me. And he found some little floozy who had nothing going on and had time for floozy. You still if you watching, you a floozy, and I still don't like you. Period. But I think that he said I didn't have time for him.
Okay.
And so at the end of the day, I was like, okay.
But how did that make you feel? Because
it was. You know what?
Do you think that was manipulative in a way?
It was manipulative in a way because right after that happened, remember I told you I went to Atlanta and then I did something that was out of my character. I cheated on him back.
Okay.
I called it revenge cheating. It was my turn. And so in doing that revenge cheating, I still feel some type of way, even though I went to Atlanta and got my life, baby, my whole life, had a good time. I still felt some type of way. So when I got back home and we tried to resolve the situation, I remember coming home and him looking at me and telling me, like, as soon as I got in from the airport, he looked at me and he said, take a shower, and whatever you did, wash it out in the tub. And we'll talk, and we won't talk about it. So he knew that I went down there and acted a fool.
Y'all are crazy. Take a shower.
Yes. He was like, take a shower, wash it off, and we'll talk about it later. But I think that, you know, I stepped out of character. But in that situation, I couldn't blame myself. I was like, I had a goal. My education was first. And if me getting my education and being determined about finishing school would have ended our relationship or caused him to cheat, then so be it. That's a hit I was willing to take because my education was the most important thing to me at that time.
Yeah.
And I could not control the fact that I had to work 3 jobs to put myself through school and do what I had to do. And you couldn't even help me, or you can't stay faithful because I'm busy studying or I'm at class. You know, find something to do, read a book.
It's interesting. I wonder what you would tell your young self in that situation right now.
Don't be in a committed relationship. Focus on, it was so many distractions with being in a relationship at that young age. So I would have definitely told myself, like, have fun with him. Yeah. Because when we have fun, we have fun. So I would just tell my younger self, have fun with him, but don't commit. Right. Enjoy your 20s. You know, flirt, be fabulous, twirl around, but be by yourself. Right. And don't take on the responsibilities of a man and get that education like I did. So, but I do want to ask you this. Do you think that with me saying that, that a relationship in your eyes can survive infidelity?
I think relationships can survive anything it depends on what your threshold is, and it depends on what you are willing to accept and allow. I'm 32 years old. I've never been in a relationship. I also have this thing where I'm just like, we talk about this in previous episodes where like the interest for me is kind of like dwindling because I become very a hyper independent person, and I just feel like being in a relationship will cause me a lot of will be very inconvenient for me. But I know that in this space in my life, I wouldn't accept cheating because for me, cheating is a choice. It's not a mistake. If you and I agree that we're going to be in a monogamous relationship, you are asking me to commit to you. You are asking me to make a promise to you. Correct. So if we agree that we're going to do this promise, then and you decide to step out of that, I have to leave you because I have to hold you accountable. Yeah. Because I think that's the whole point of it. And if I'm leaving somebody, it's never because of the sleeping with somebody else. I'm a very sexual person, so you sleeping with somebody else is not going to be it's not going to be the issue at hand for me. It's going to be the fact that I have to think about you lying, the duplicity, everything behind that. Correct. And if I can't trust you as a person, then what are we doing? Because for me, like I said, I'm not going to be one of them people that's digging through your phone, asking questions, checking you. You are an adult and you have full autonomy of your body and yourself. Yeah. Make choices and make good choices. And if you say that you're going to commit to me as a person, do your due diligence and do that for me. And so I can do the same for you.
Yeah. I think that the hardest part for me getting cheated on in the second relationship was after we ended the relationship, after going through therapy for about 1.5 years, my therapist challenged me to ask my ex, like, why did he do the things that he did to me? And when I asked him, it was one of the most powerful statements that changed my life. Right. He literally said, I did what I did to you because I knew that you loved me more than you loved yourself. So all I had to do was apologize.
I'd have slapped the shit out of him because how dare you say something like that?
I still want to, girl. We seen him out the other day. I was like, let's get him.
Oh my God. These people always manipulating somebody.
He master manipulator and a narcissist. But I needed to hear that, Nathan, because 9 years ago, that put me on a journey of self-love that I needed to be on. Right. Because if he hadn't told me that, I think I would have still been operating in this love loop of just being with men and doing what I needed to do and being there for them and giving them my all and not really getting anything for myself. So that allowed me to just take a step back and was like, you know what? I need to figure out what I need for me.
Right.
So
I want to circle back to you saying that you cheated back, because I feel like a lot of people do this. Even my straight friends, they're always talking about, whenever somebody's cheating on them, they do it so they can pretty much break even.
Yeah.
What do you think about that role in terms of doing that, and how does that even make y'all feel? Because to me, I just think that it's not even about making two wrongs making it right. I just think that just so childish. If you want to stay with the person, forgive them and then stay. What is the point of you cheating back? What does that do for you?
You know what? I think that at that age, mind you, I was 20.
You were young,
So when I went to Atlanta, it was not my objective to cheat on him back. I went out to a club and I was arguing with him on the phone. There was a police officer that was working the door at the club. He seen me going in and out of the club arguing on the phone. He walked up to me and said, hang up on him. I hung up on my ex and I was talking to the police officer, a very mature man who's probably he was probably 25. I was talking to him and he was like, you don't need to be dealing with that. I mean, he was just a listening ear. And at that time, I hadn't had that much exposure to other gay men.
Right.
So I was like, oh, this is a nice man talking to me, whatever. Me and my cousin go home. The police officer follows us home because we were drunk. Follows us home, make sure we get home safely, and then asked me like, hey, can I take you to breakfast? I had never been to Waffle House. He took me to Waffle House. And then we started to talk. He asked me what I was going through my relationship. I told him my man cheated. And he was like, well, you can sleep with me, jokingly. And then in my head, I was like,
end up fucking.
We end up. Legs spread and happy.
How'd that make you feel when you went back home? How did that, like...
You know what, in the moment when I was in it, because I end up staying there, I was supposed to be in Atlanta 3 days. I ended up staying in Atlanta for like 5 or 6 days.
Right.
I was in a whole relationship with this man because I ended up staying with him and kicking it with him in Atlanta and having a good time, forgetting about I had a whole man at home. So I didn't feel any guilt in that moment. I felt like I was getting my revenge.
Yeah.
When I got back home, that's when reality sunk in because the man kept calling and was like, hey, are you moving out? Like, he was just trying to hurry up and rush my process to get to Atlanta and help me out as much as possible. And I was like, I got to end things here first. So when I got back home, it's like the guilt, a bit of guilt sunk in.
Right.
But then also there was like, I held my head kind of high because I'm like, you cheated.
Oh, you felt like a boss because you did
and then I did it.
You did something in reciprocity.
Yeah. I feel like being cheated on often makes you feel like, am I not enough? Because that's where the initial feelings that I had when I got cheated on was, what did I miss? Right. What didn't I do? How can I improve so that it doesn't happen again? Yeah. I immediately put the blame on me. And I think that a lot of people do that in cheating, and it's not you. You're not the problem. Whatever they did to cheat, they were going to do that regardless.
Right.
Whether they're with you, somebody else, or whatever.
Would you stay with the person now if you got cheated on?
At this age, no. The self-love that I've developed over the past 10 years, nobody can take that from me. And one of my relationship goals is to be in a monogamous partnership. And if that person cannot honor the monogamy of our relationship, we can't be together. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. Before I wasn't. I was willing to accept certain things because I'm like, I just want a man. Yeah. Not at this age.
Yeah, a lot of it is ego for me. I just, I tell people all the time, I said, if you cheat on me in another state. Don't cheat on me in the states that I live in.
So
I gotta go out and see the bitches that you fucking.
Do you feel like at this point in time with cheating that depending on what sexual position your partner plays when they cheat determines whether or not you'll stay with them? For example, you know where I'm going. You, as a bottom, you date
I'm a bottom.
Oh my God. You date primarily tops. Well, you date majority tops.
Yeah.
And so would you feel some type of way if your top cheated on you, but he went out and got topped and he was a bottom in that sexual experience? Would that make you feel some type of way?
No, because I'm not that kind of bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I like verse men too, so it really wouldn't be a problem for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think what would annoy me would be him communicating, well, I wanted to get fucked. That would really annoy me. I think that will annoy me more than anything, but I don't. That's not. I think that him cheating on me would probably be the issue, because it's just like, if you wanted to do that, we could have had a conversation on, talk to me, talk about your feelings, talk about what you're interested in doing. You know what I mean? Because it's not like I haven't talked before. But even if I didn't want to engage in that, I just feel like him communicating that in that kind of way will kind of irritate me.
So I've having my ear to the streets.
Mm-hmm. What the streets say?
I've noticed that a lot of times men are put into the position of tops. They may be versed, but a lot of times, some of them are not a lot of times, sometimes they're put into position.
What states are these that people are being put in position to top?
A lot of times, I feel like people...
You think that's here in LA?
I'm just in general.
Finish your story, man.
Yeah, you want me to go somewhere and I don't want to go. I don't want to go there. But I feel like a lot of times some people are just put in a position to be tops because they're really good at it. Their penis size is large, but they want to explore other sexual positions, but they're just put in a position of top. You and I, for example, we talked about this when we first started having sexual experiences with men. We did not know what we liked. But
I know immediately.
Well, I can't say that I knew,
right,
but I was flipped into being a bottom, but ended up being a top first because I couldn't take what that man was dishing at that particular point in time in my life. So, I ended up was like, we're not gonna talk about that. But anyway, but I feel like for a lot of men that do cheat in certain relationships, I think that it is because they want to have the opportunity to bottom, and they're with a bottom who's like, I'm not topping you.
I think I don't like that idea because then you make it seem like bottoms are unrelenting and unwaverable in their ideas of sex. I think some bottoms...
I'm not speaking for anybody.
I know, but I'm just saying some bottoms can be flexible. And I also think that, listen, you going outside of your relationship is you going outside of your relationship.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you wanted to flip. It doesn't matter if the person in the house was cooking eggs and you can't cook or whatever the situation. It just really doesn't matter. If you step outside your relationship, you step outside of your relationship.
Yeah, but you have to understand, but one of the reasons why you step outside of your relationship is not being sexually satisfied. Because knowing you and who you are, if you were not sexually stimulated in your relationship...
I'm not cheating on my man, though.
You would either A, leave them, or you would B, find somewhere else to be sexually stimulated. You would not stay in a partnership with somebody and you're not pleased sexually.
Yeah, but I think that for me...
Can you admit that?
Yes, I can admit that. But that doesn't mean I'm going to cheat on you.
No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that like you're not going to stay in a situation where you're not sexually stimulated.
I'm a very sex positive person. I also know the extent of my sex drive. Yeah. I also have self-control. And I also feel like when you're dating somebody and you're trying to get to know them, I think people shy away from talking about sex and stuff like that. Two people, I think your sexual flows have to match.
Yes.
So when y'all are getting together, the amount of time that you want to have sex or the amount of times that they want to have sex, it has to match. You being a person that is interested in having sex often and this person is really not like that, I tend to feel like those relationships don't work because I do feel like relationships are 50% connection.
Yes, connection is big.
Yes.
Well, we talked about, we put this in our notes, but we talked about like what motivates people to cheat. And I feel like sex is one of the top 5 reasons why people cheat in relationships. Yeah. I would say like in the beginning of being in same gender loving relationships, I did not. Yes, I did not prioritize like sex as like the top in my top 5 reasons why I like wanted to be with somebody. Now I think with exploring sex, being 36 years old, I'm like, you know what? I know what satisfies me, and sex is in that top 5.
Right.
Period. And I know it's in your top 5, and I think it's in a lot of people's top 5.
I think it's in a lot of people's top 5. I'm sorry, go back. What was the question again?
No. We just thought that was just one of the scenario, not one of the reasons why people cheat.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, okay. So this is what I want to say about cheating. I think cheating is about discipline, and there may be a whole bunch of reasons behind cheating, but I want people to get away from the fact that of making excuses for cheating rather than holding people accountable. And I'm not telling you to leave your partner. I'm telling you to do what's best for you.
Yeah.
But I think that, especially being in our 30s and people who are like us dating in their 30s, accountability is important. It don't matter what you do. If you and a person have an agreement on something and they go outside of the agreement, the accountability and the onus is on them.
It's on them.
So that's what I'm saying in regards to that. Before we jump into the scenario, I wanted to touch on social media a little bit because of the way, like, how our generation is using social media and stuff. Do you think that liking pictures and sending DMs and all that kind of stuff, what is the extent of cheating as it
on social media?
Yeah, like as you can see it on social media. I don't know why I highlight the paper.
Right.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I feel like cheating on social media would consist of sliding in DMs, commenting on pictures,
commenting on pictures.
Inappropriate comments.
Like, what's inappropriate comments? Tongue out, all that.
Okay, let's say that your man follows a page and the person on the page is always in a thong and showing a booty hole. And
can you do that on Instagram?
Yeah, I think you can. And you find under the comments your man saying, "Damn, I want to taste that hole." That's
inappropriate. Yes, absolutely.
If my man commented on a picture, "Damn, I want to taste that hole," that is opening up a door for that person to then slide into your
See, that's
DM.
Inappropriate. But I think that if he liked the picture, I'm not going to trip over that.
Don't like it. Screenshot. I don't mind. Like, I wouldn't mind if my man screenshotted a picture, maybe put in his friends group chat, maybe they talk about the whole. That's different. That's their business. Or he screenshot and he want to look at it.
You just don't want it to be visible to you.
Yes.
And the outside world.
And the outside. But I don't want you to, I don't want it to be visible and I don't want you engaging. You can look at it. You can scroll past it. You can, jack off to it. But as far as when you start engaging with that person.
So you can't like the picture.
Don't like the picture.
Okay.
To my man, don't like the picture. No.
I don't know. Y'all tap in. Send us some answers in the DM if that is okay to do. Just like the picture, not comment.
Yeah. I don't think, liking the picture, no. That just doesn't make sense. If somebody likes, you're a beautiful, beautiful man.
Oh my God.
You post your shirt off. Somebody likes it. What does that tell you?
That they like the picture? And to me, okay, so this is how I feel. Ain't no motion till it's in the messages. I need to see action.
But
do you liking pictures don't mean something.
Do you feel, okay, ain't no motion. But do you feel like that's slow motion if he liked the pictures with you and your titties out?
You got like a picture with my titty out? Do you like a picture probably be showing my ass? Or you like a picture me eating this bread?
Okay.
And like my 6, 7 pictures. And that's going to be
now I got to be an octagon for it to make sense. That person likes you. But it's still, I feel like that's motion.
Okay.
That I feel like my man, you can look, you can gaze, you can screenshot. But actually like commenting or liking a picture, cheating.
Yeah.
I got a question before we get into the scenario though.
Okay.
Do you feel like that there could be cheating during the talking stages of a relationship? Like you and somebody, y'all talking, y'all getting to know each other. Do you feel like there could be like cheating in that phase?
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Have you ever been in a scenario where you talking to somebody, it's going good, and you like feel like they cheated on you? They did something, you like,
yeah, but I had to get out of that mode. I used to feel like that a lot in my 20s. I'll be talking to a lot of dudes. I'm putting them as initial priority in my mind, but I'm not theirs. But in reality, they're doing the right thing. They're dating. We haven't made any exclusivity in our conversation in what we're doing. I do think that there should be a little bit of etiquette and class to what you're doing. So if me and you are talking and we feel like we're getting to know each other seriously, but we're not exclusive.
Yeah.
You're doing other things, your level of discretion should be high. You know what I mean? At least that's what I would do.
I mean,
you should move in a way.
Yes.
You don't have to move in a way as if we're like together, but move in a way where, the courtship that we got going on, it shows that you still have interest in that. I don't need to know about that.
I call those type of relationships like invisible relationships. Like
invisible relationships.
Yeah, it's like we gotta understand it, but we don't go together. But we gotta understand it. And
I don't got no understanding with nobody. I'm single
this week
till you tell me.
Till you tell me. I think the emotional connection that you have. Yeah. And I call that like an invisible relationship because we have an emotional connection. And then we're doing relationship things, but we have not committed to each other.
And that is your problem now. Y'all
That's
young people.
Well, it happens. Well, it happens because I feel like I also call like invisible breakups to where like you and that person, y'all realize that after maybe 6 months of dating and talking, it did not work out. Y'all break up.
We need to touch a little bit more in another episode about situationships, the complications around that, all these different aspects of that.
Because the invisible breakup can have your girl down for a day.
I'm not going to even acknowledge those invisible things that you talk about. If you want to call it that, then you call it that.
It ain't for you to see, bitch. It's invisible.
Okay. So the scenario that we got before we end is, so on my birthday, remember we went on my birthday dinner. We had a whole group of my friends who was celebrating, y'all. We was at a steakhouse enjoying whatever. In true J. Lamar fashion and being a dating coach, he wants to get the conversation going. So he drops the conversation or the topic of if you and your dude are at an event, right? And you have an acquaintance that's at the event and they come and speak to you and they are talking to your dude on the side and they pull their phone out and ask your dude to follow them on Instagram. Is that okay? And that really split the table in half. Now, I'm not going to give y'all my opinion just yet because the way I was surfing through that table, I was hearing some good stuff. But Jay's going to tell y'all how he feel.
Y'all, if y'all ever want me to come to y'all birthday dinners and start some shit, I can. That's what I let it do. You drop a little gem on the table. But I think that the context of the conversation was if your friend exchange social media with your men. It wasn't acquaintance.
Oh, friend.
We said friend. You
friend like me.
You trying to change it up because you were on one side of the table.
Friend.
We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna argue about that right now like we did the other day. But
if it's friend, then it's fine. I think that's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
If we said friend, I feel like this. If I bring my man around my friends, there is a boundary that is not invisible. It is you see it. It's a boulder. That's my man. So I feel like you should not exchange or want to exchange social media with my man. Why? I don't want my man liking your pictures. I don't want my man commenting because he won't. I don't want my man having access to my friends like that. You're my friend. So because you're my friend, I feel like your priority is to me. Your loyalty is to me, not to my man.
You really control her. I think that's really what that is.
Very.
For me, with a lot of the side of the table, and I noticed that a lot of the side of the table, a lot of my friends were in non-monogamous relationship or were non-monogamous people.
Those were the ones that were saying that they were.
Yes, and those were the ones that were. But I'm also I'm a monogamous person, so I feel like, again, we talk about this. I'm not interested in policing anything that y'all doing. And if I identify you as my friend, I'm not worried about what y'all doing on Instagram. Like, you know what I mean? If you follow my dude, like, I follow so many of my friends' boyfriends on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm not DMing them or nothing. When they post pictures of them, I love y'all. Y'all so cute.
Well, I can say this, Nathan. You are a gem. You are a rare gem, I feel like, in the gay community when it comes to that because you do move. Yeah. You do move in a very tactful way. Just seeing you with your other friend groups and people that have relationships, you do move in like a very sweet way. So you acknowledge their relationships, you respect their relationships, but everybody doesn't
do
move
that.
like that.
And I like to act like I live in a world where everybody is a respectful and poised person. So I get it.
Because even when we were having that debate at your birthday dinner and we were arguing back and forth, majority of the argument was coming from the people who are in non-monogamous relationships or who believe in non-ethical monogamy. They don't want to be in committed partnerships by themselves. They want to be in open relationships. Mm-hmm. And so they were saying, yeah, why can't I?
But I also think this is not a open relationship versus a monogamous people type thing. I think this is
I think they made it that at the dinner because they were like, well, if I think your man is attractive and I want to follow him on Instagram, that's what really.
I think that was a wild comment, but I get it.
They had to put the steak knives under the table because it got crazy.
I think it really has more to do with y'all relationship with social media. I don't view social media in the way that people do it, but I do but I also, my social media ain't popping like that. I'm not on there DMing people trying to, I do my big one outside.
But don't act like you don't know how certain people move and navigate as though they are worms. They're not big enough to be snakes. They're worms.
Worms is crazy.
Worms. But certain people move, especially when they find out you have a man and stuff like that. Let's not forget about how certain people move in that way.
I just would like people to know that I can fight. And I just make that very, very clear. And that's okay, Proceed with caution and make good choices. That's all. But anyway, any final comments? Oh, we gotta do our dating tips.
Yeah. I would say my dating tip centered around cheating would be if you do not want to stay in a relationship after you get cheated on, don't. Mm-hmm. If your boundaries are, you know what, once a person cheats, that's it. Stand 10 toes down on that. Because I feel like for me, I said it in my younger years, but I did not do that. Mm-hmm. Now being a lot more confident in the person I am, a lot more loving to myself, I will not be in a partnership where somebody cheats on me because that's something I feel like I can't recover from and I don't want to recover from. The love is off. So if you feel like, somebody cheats, you can't deal with it, stand 10 toes down on that. What about you?
I agree with that. I think my dating tip was to be stand 10 toes down in your interest and what you want to do. Mm-hmm. And make sure if you feel like you want to hold people accountable, make sure you're holding yourself accountable in relationships. So things that you in your dating practices. So if you're asking people for certain things, making sure you already got it on the table before you ask that. Yeah. So that's my big.
And I think another thing before we wrap up is just like don't blame yourself. Like don't go into like what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Recognize the situation is what it is, and you can recover from that. Yeah. And don't drown in sorrow.
There is no wrong answer when it happens to you. So
it is.
I think that's what it is. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much for watching. Catch us on episode 6.
We'll see y'all next time. Bye, daters.
Bye-bye.